should all the caucuses or mediation caucuses, I would call them that, have lawyers embedded in them for these disputes to be solved?
Thank you. I think the first thing that we need to distinguish for our viewer is what is this word lawyer and what is this word advocate? Because you were in a letter changamoto. People ask, so you're a lawyer, you're not an advocate. Now, for our viewer, any person who gets a law degree from a recognized university in the country and abroad is a lawyer.
Okay.
So you have your law degree, you're a lawyer. Now, after that, if you go to the Kenya School of Law, there is a diploma offered by the Kenya School of Law. It's 1.5 years, but your law degree is 4 years. So the substantive part of law is taught at the university.
Okay.
There's a lot of procedural law that is taught at the Kenya School of Law. So anybody who finishes their law degree is a lawyer. Then if you go to Kenya School of Law and do the diploma at the Kenya School of Law, and then after that diploma, you apply to join the Law Society of Kenya, where he's president. Now you become an advocate.
Okay.
And you can go to court. Now, do we have lawyers who are very well learned in law but are not advocates? Yes. Personally, after my law degree, I would go ahead to join the University of Nairobi. And I'm currently pursuing my master's. in constitutional law, democracy and governance. Still in law, an LLM. And God willing, I'll do a PhD in law. But then you become this lawyer who is not an advocate. And Kenyans tend to think that kama hauendi kotini we si wakili.
Okay.
So now what has been happening from his members? Now, people from Machakos, I saw another one from Kisumu, are writing all sorts of letters and telling judges that non-advocate mediators should not be involved in the practice of mediation because hawajui sheria. Some of the members we have at the Mediators, because I'm the chairman of the Association of Certified Mediators, are actually PhD holders in law. Someone comes, they do their first law degree, they finish, they do a master's in law, they finish, they do a PhD in law. That person is lecturing law at some university. They have just chosen not to do the diploma for Kenya School of Law.
Okay.
And they have chosen not to become advocates. But because those people who are represented by the president here, advocates, feel that only those people who have a diploma from Kenya School of Law and are members of the Law Society of Kenya then are supposed to be in the space of mediation. But we are telling them, let us look at mediation from where it's coming from. When it started in 2016, the success rate in terms of case resolution was 16%. The Chief Justice was with us at Strathmore University just this April when we were just, every year we have a summit for mediation. And she's hailing mediation. The Chief Justice is praising mediation. She's saying quarter next mediation has unlocked 64% of the cases that were sent to them.
And those are some cases that could be in backlog.
Yes.
Okay.
The quarter next mediation has unlocked over 90 billion back into the economy. That is the Chief Justice saying this. There are cases that were 23 years old, 32 years old, which cases were given to people who are not practicing advocates. And those people are able to resolve those cases within 4 days. I have had a 24-year-old case in my office. It had seen enough lawyers, enough judges. It had been through those corridors. Within a short 2 weeks, we were able to resolve that case through mediation. So what we are saying is mediation is beautiful and mediation is working. We are not going to throw the baby plus the bathwater. When you spoke about the manners and the things that advocates are speaking about, si hata mapasta kuna wabaya. We have rogue pastors, okay? We have rogue engineers. We have rogue politicians. We even have rogue advocates, and he will tell you that. In every profession, there will be rogue people. I think that's an enforcement issue. The question we should be having here is, are we having mediators who are ill-behaved? And they are there. Because every society will have those. Even priests, we have bad ones and we have the good ones. So the question should be, how do we go about enforcing? By the way, the court annexed, the committee, the Mediation Accreditation Committee, which is the HR arm at the judiciary for mediators, has actually created a code of ethics. We have a code of ethics. For your information, our president, or the president of the Law Society of Kenya, the person who heads that committee is called John Ohaga. John Ohaga is an advocate. He's one of your members. In fact, at the Mediation Accreditation Committee, the organization with the highest representation is the Law Society of Kenya. So all decisions that have been made from the inception of mediation in 2016 to where we are, that committee that has made those decisions has got the highest single most represented organization is the Law Society. It actually has a male representative and a female representative.
Just for clarification, the highest representation of these mediators comes from the LSK. That committee comes from the LSK.
It's called the Mediation Accreditation Committee.
Okay.
Yeah. At that Mediation Accreditation Committee, and even the committees that formed the pilot from when we are starting mediation to where we are, there is no profession that has got a higher representation in all those committees than the Law Society of Kenya.
Okay.
So all the decisions that have been made, I have told you, in fact, the head of ethics, the person who checks whether mediators are behaving ethically, is called John Ohaga. He's an advocate of the Higher Court of Kenya, and he's been doing an excellent job. Because while mediators wana misbehave, mimi naambua kama chairman. And we have always told the Mediation Accreditation Committee to deal with them ruthlessly. Because we do not want to ruin a very noble profession.
Okay.
So we are working hand in hand with the Law Society of Kenya. It's just that when we started off, actually advocates used to say hawataki mediation. Today we are happy that advocates are saying we want to be the mediators to the exclusion of all others. Yeah. Okay. It's like when Uber and Taxify and all the others began. You know, these guys who were driving the old school taxis were saying, hatutaki hizi taxis are up. At some point they started to say, sisi ndio tunataka hizi taxis are up, wale wengine wote watolewe. So that's where